learning how to be patient with yourself, and especially like in the recovery phase is like very important, because it can be frustrating when you're like, I just want to be able to like go to school and not like have a panic attack by myself in the bathroom, because okay, like nobody else seems to be doing this, like why can't I just do this what everybody else is doing? But you kind of have to recognize that it's like you do it at your own pace, and everyone's recovery is kind of different, and then like you can just be patient, and that it, yeah, it's just
Yeah, and that like lifelong learning is a thing. Like
mm-hmm.
it doesn't end after high school, or it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't end
Mm-hmm.
after like university.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can always learn new things, and you can always learn how to like improve yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
like improve the ways that you act, so that
Mm-hmm.
you can be like more resilient and more able
Mm-hmm.
to like take on the things that like life has to offer.
Absolutely. And I think that like with recovery from something like psychosis and like drug induced brain damage, which is kind of how they phrase it, it makes you kind of think like, oh wow, my brain's like broken now. Like
Mm.
it's not very like hopeful. But whenever you start emphasizing like neuroplasticity, and that like the brain can work to heal itself, and because I was like still under 25 whenever everything happened, I mean, your brain is still very much developing, and like then finally that's like a message of hope. It's like they use it for fear so much, though, like your brain's developing, like be careful. But then it's like after the episode, it's kind of like your brain is still developing, so be hopeful that like your
Mhm.
brain will like it'll heal itself, and like you'll be able to learn, and like it'll be okay, and you're not like it's not over.
Yeah.
It's just getting started. So
You don't hear those
no.
messagings very often,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
like I know for me, like it was hard for me to like see a better way, because I didn't know anyone who like had went through the same
mm-hmm,
things.
mm-hmm,
So like being able to have conversations like this, and being able to like talk openly, and like
mm-hmm.
you're holding down a job, I'm holding down a job, like we're productive members of society. Like we both talked at a conference today, and
Yeah, we're
yeah,
doing
like
good.
we're
Proud of
yeah,
you.
proud of you too.
Thanks.
Doing good.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there is life after, and
Mm-hmm.
like it can be a fulfilling life, and it can
Mm-hmm.
be fun, and you can have
Yeah.
like an adventure.
Totally.
It's not the end of the road.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Like all my friends who've experienced like any form of mental health, like if I look at any of them, like in the weeks following what's happened to them, like none of what they're doing to feel themselves again is going to be the same. Like everyone is going to need something different, and there's no one stop shop slash solution for everyone. Like it's about doing what you need to do to feel at your best. And I think a big part of recovery is becoming aware of what the things are you need to feel at your best. And like I think that was the biggest part of my recovery, hands down, was getting to a point where I just like I broke through a wall where I was like having trouble, like not having trouble, but once I broke through this wall, I just felt like 10 times more self-aware. I was like, wow, like the mental clarity that I'm experiencing right now is like nothing I've experienced like since this has happened to me. And so it just, you know, that came from just leaning into um it was more recent. So due to this whole COVID thing, like I was forced away from a lot of communities, like my supportive communities that I know and love and that keep me happy and well. Like no problem with that. Um it's just funny that it happened out of like so much discomfort. I found this all the things that are good for me is because I was forced away from this. I think when you have a supportive community, like even if things aren't great, they can feel a bit better because you're being supported. It's like that's great. The greatest part about it, right, is the support that comes from it. But I found when I separated myself from all the people, and like I would like not only would be supported by them, but I'd hang out with them, all this stuff. And so when I just had so much time to myself, I had to really reevaluate, okay, how am I spending all the hours of my day? I just wanted to like think about what I'm doing. And because the pandemic and quarantine, self-isolation, stuff like that, like I wasn't going out much. I just kind of like planned out my day a lot more, filled it with things that bring me joy in life, such as like fitness, sleeping well, um, spending time in nature, stuff like that. And honestly, like the return on that investment of just finding out, or like personally asking myself, what brings you joy? Like does being what makes you feel the most alive, I think is the best thing to ask. Because if you just fill your life with the things that make you feel the most alive, that's a life well spent, in my opinion. So